Hey viewers, and welcome to another PvP spec guide. Today's spec is a slight variation on the Tactician one that I uploaded a couple of days ago. But this spec should have a bit more damage and actually does have quite a bit more healing. So I think it's probably a lot more useful for PvP and as a build overall. So let's call the spec an upgrade of the one before. So as always, the spec itself and then the abilities and the rotation is what I'll be going through. Now, as the spec is also similar to the one before this, which I will put in the link below, the ability bar and the rotation is pretty much the same, but I'll go through it all anyway for all of the people that didn't see the one before. So, the spec is 48 Tactician and 28 Marksman, and then 0 points into Rift Stalker. So I'll just hang around on this screen for a bit, just so that you can copy it down if you wish to. This spec just gives you a bit more healing from some of the abilities that you're given, because you've put more points into Tactician. So it gives you a bit more healing than the other build. But also some of the abilities mean that you can do more AoE damage. So I'll just leave this up for a few seconds. I took Rift Stalker because of Shadow Shift, so you can either catch up or get away from your enemy. But you can pretty much swap Rift Stalker out to anything else. So some people might like Saboteur for the big snare, what's it called? Adhesive bomb, which snares all enemies in the target area for 8 seconds, which is quite useful, but I just prefer the Rift Stalker ability. So that should have been enough time by now to check all of that out. So moving on to the abilities and hotbar. So as I said, I've already been through this before on the previous video, but I'll go through it anyways. But make sure that I'll go into a lot less depth in this one, but if you want to see all of the depth, I'll make sure that you look into the link in the description below. So the abilities that you want on your hotbar are Glacial Torrent, Infernal Torrent, Curative Torrent, Empyrean Bolt, Infernal Beam, Necrotic Bolt. Obviously you can sort all of these abilities wherever you want on your hotbar. This is just where I prefer to have them. The 3 finishers, Torrent Primer, Empyrean Ray and Necrotic Ray. Your 3 cores, Curative Core, which is a heal, Necrotic Core, which deals damage over time, and Power Core, which will debuff your enemy, meaning you deal more damage to them. Your 3 remotes, which are very important during fights, Barrier Remote, Battle Remote and Curative Remote. And remember that you can only have one remote and 1 core on you at a time. You then have 4 other abilities. Deaden, which is your interrupt, on the double, which increases your movement speed, Shadow Shift from Rift Stalker, so this is going to be replaced with Adhesive Bomb if that's what you're using. And then a very good ability is Mass Repulsion, which will knock back all enemies around you, which can be quite useful if you're suddenly getting raped by some rogue assassin or something like that. And then the 4 buffs that you're going to have are Electrified Munitions, Rending Munitions, and you can have both of these on at the same time. And then you have 2 engines, Curative Engine and Restorative Engine. These are highly interchanging, so you're going to want to use Curative Engine when you just want to get out a load of DPS, and you're going to want to use Restorative Engine when you know that a lot more healing is going to be required, because you'll just be using your Empyrean Bolt loads and just healing everyone in your raid up. So there's all the abilities. Oh, and I also have Break Free, which most of you should have anyway, which just will get rid of 1 bit of control on you for 2 minutes. So the rotation is pretty much the exact same as before. In fact, I think it is the same. You're going to go Infernal Beam into Necrotic Bolt, and then your 2 torrents, so Glacial Torrent and then Infernal Torrent, into Empyrean Bolt, and this will build up 3 combo points, so I'll show you that. So Q, E, 1, 2 and 4. So why do I only have 2? That's strange. I should have 3. Let me try that again. I probably just epically failed somehow. 1, 2. There we go. Okay, it's just because one of my torrents didn't finish properly. So yeah, that first initiation will get you 3 combo points, and then just to get back up to 5, you're going to want to go Glacial Torrent back into Infernal Torrent, use another bolt, and then you should have 5, and then you can use either one of the 3 finishers that you have, depending on the situation and what you want to do. And then after that initiation, just hop between Glacial Torrent and then Infernal Torrent into Empyrean Bolt, or if you want, you can just go Glacial, Infernal, Glacial, Infernal, and then Bolt, and that will give you 5 points, or you can just do 2 rotations of Glacial, Infernal, Empyrean, and then back into the same again, and that will get you your 5 combo points, so that you can use your finishers. Now during the fight, you want your cores and your remotes available to you, and you're definitely going to want to use these because these will help you to gain more DPS or bring in some more healing. So the barrier remote is the one that battle remote is the one that you're going to want to use first, which will increase your damage and healing received by 20% for 10 seconds. And then into barrier remote, which will give you a shield for 20% of your maximum health, which also lasts 10 seconds. And then curative remote, which will debuff the target, healing the attacker for a certain amount whenever they are hit. So what I like to do is to go battle remote into curative remote into barrier remote, and by the time barrier remote has gone off of you, curative remote will be back up, so you can just maximize your healing abilities there. And then the cores are highly dependent on the situation. So you have the curative core if you know that the people around you and you included are going to be taking like a lot of damage as a group, so you're just going to want to place this down just to help the healers out slightly. Or if you want to get face in there, you use necrotic core and deal some damage to the enemies, or if some rogue assassins or warriors such like are trying to rape you from behind. Or you can use power core, again just get in the enemy's face and debuff them so that they take more damage. If you're against mages especially, you have your interrupt, so make sure that you interrupt any of their really overpowered skills, because mages have very overpowered skills which need to be interrupted, and remember that it does silence them for 5 seconds, so this is quite useful. And then obviously on the double and shadow shift, if you want to catch up or get away from your opponent, make sure that you're using them. And then as I said before, if you get butt raped by someone, just use mass repulsion and it should knock them back, and you should be okay for a few seconds. And that brings an end to another PvP guide. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that it has helped you in some way or another. Please make sure you remember to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and please, just please comment below with some constructive criticism below to tell me how I can improve my videos. If you did like this video, please be sure to check out my other specs and builds, as they might help you along the way with your rifting experience as well. Thanks for watching, and hopefully, as always, I can see some of you next time. Peace.